McCarthy was a politician from the state of Wisconsin from 1947 until 1957. From 1950, McCarthy became the most visible public face of a period in which Cold War tension fueled fears of widespread communism. McCarthy was born on a farm in the town of Grand Chute, Wisconsin, near Appleton, the fifth of 7 children. His mother, Bridget Tierney, was from the country of Tipperary, Ireland. His father, Timothy McCarthy, was born in the United States, the son of an Irish father and a German mother. McCarthy dropped out of junior school at the age of 14 to help his parents manage the farm. He entered Little Wolf High School in Manawatu, Wisconsin, when he was 20 and graduated in 1 year. In 1942, shortly after the US entered World War II, McCarthy was commissioned into the United States Marine Corps. Despite the fact that his judicial office exempted him from the compulsory service, his education qualified him for an automatic commission as an officer, and he became a second lieutenant after completing basic training. McCarthy lied and cheated to get to where he was. He released fake documents and forged pictures to frame people for crimes they didn't commit. This then created a terror of McCarthy that made people obedient, as they were scared that they would be next. His methods were much like the witch hunters from the 15th century, as he would pick someone at random and blame them and call them a communist.
But I submit that any sincere person would have concluded from a review of the record that it does not offer the slightest iota of proof that I have an unusual affinity for communist causes. I therefore conclude that Senator McCarthy's charges and insinuations are not only false, but utterly irresponsible, and under the circumstances reveal a shocking disregard for the interests of our country.
One of the strongest bases of anti-communists in the United States was the Catholic community, which constituted over 20% of the national vote. McCarthy identified himself as a Catholic, and although the great majority of Catholics were Democrats, as his fame as a leading anti-communist grew, he became popular in the Catholic communities across the country, with strong support from many leading Catholics. McCarthy established a bond with the powerful Kennedy family, which had high visibility among Catholics. McCarthy became a close friend of Joseph P. Kennedy and a frequent guest at the Kennedy compound in Hyannisport. He dated 2 of Kennedy's daughters, Patricia and Eunice, and it was godfather to Robert F. Kennedy's first child, Kathleen Kennedy. Robert was chosen by McCarthy as a counsel of his investigatory committee. Some congressmen jumped on the bandwagon and continued to seek out those who could oppose the USA. He targeted communists, but most people he claimed were communists weren't. Anyone could be targeted, which created a fear because people thought they might be next. The Rosenbergs, Owen Latimer, who is a top US scientist, and the Hollywood 10 were just some of McCarthy's victims. He became known as the Communist Finder General. There was no specific group that McCarthy targeted. He would arrest anyone.
Traitors are not gentlemen, my good friends. They don't understand being treated like gentlemen.
President Eisenhower and the media played key parts in McCarthy's downfall. In March 1954, a television program condemned McCarthy. The journalist that produced the program showed clearly McCarthy's shabby nature and the baselessness of his claims. Eisenhower and his government dealt with communists in a completely different way to McCarthy. The Communist Control Act was passed under Eisenhower. This then limited the legal rights of the party. In December 1954, McCarthy was publicly reprimanded by the Senate. The vote was 67% for, 22% against, in favor of censoring him. John F. Kennedy was the only Democrat to vote against this. McCarthy then lost the chairmanship of the Committee on Operations of the Senate, which signalled the loss of power.